Imagine hearing footsteps at night in an attic that's locked. Now imagine those footsteps turning into running, frantic and desperate, and then a knock on the attic door from the inside. That's exactly what happened to me when I moved into my grandfather's old house. What I discovered there still haunts me to this day, and it might just haunt you too. When my grandfather passed away, he left me his house. It wasn't in the best shape. The floorboards creaked with every step, the paint was peeling off the walls, and it smelled like dust and old wood, just the kind of house you'd expect in a ghost story. At first, everything seemed normal. The usual sounds of an old house settling, creaks, groans, and the occasional whistle of wind through the cracks. But on the third night, something changed. I was lying in bed when I heard it. Soft, deliberate footsteps above me, in the attic. I immediately told myself it was probably just the house settling, or maybe a raccoon or some other animal had gotten in. After all, old houses make strange noises, right? But the next morning, I found something strange. The attic door was locked. I didn't have the key. That night, the footsteps returned. This time, they were louder. Someone or something was pacing back and forth, almost angrily. I tried to ignore it, convincing myself it was just the house playing tricks on me. But it wasn't like any noise I'd heard before. By the fifth night, things escalated. It wasn't just footsteps anymore. It was running, fast, frantic, like someone was desperately trying to escape. I lay there, heart racing, wondering if I should call someone. But who could I call? I didn't want to sound crazy. Then, the running stopped, and in the dead silence, I heard it, a soft knock. At first, it was faint, almost like a tap against the attic door. But it grew louder, sharper, until it sounded like someone was knocking from the inside. I could barely breathe as I listened, frozen in place. The next morning, I called my mom, desperate for answers. "Do you know anything about the attic?" "Why is it locked?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. There was a long pause. She finally said, "Your grandfather never let anyone go up there after the war. He said it was better that way." Her voice sounded distant, like she was hiding something. She refused to say more, but the tone in her voice made it clear there was something she wasn't telling me. That night, I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. I set up my phone to record while I slept, hoping to catch something, anything that would explain the noises. Sure enough, the footsteps returned. This time, I could hear the running, and then the knock again. But there was something else, a whisper. I played the recording back the next morning. My blood ran cold when I heard it. A faint, eerie whisper. Help me. I couldn't ignore it any longer. I needed to know what was in that attic. I called a locksmith to come open the door. When he arrived, he seemed a little uneasy about the whole thing, but he got to work. As he unlocked the door, I felt my stomach twist with dread. The door creaked open, and I could see a set of stairs leading up into darkness. I hesitated, but then climbed up, flashlight trembling in my hand. The attic was cold and filled with dust. The air smelled musty, and the shadows seemed to shift with the flickering light of my flashlight. In the center of the room was a child's rocking chair. It was gently rocking back and forth, though there was no breeze. Next to it was a small old journal. My hand shook as I opened it. The first page was filled with a name, Anna. The pages were filled with strange drawings of a tall, shadowy figure with glowing eyes. On the last page, there was one sentence written over and over again: "Don't let him out." Suddenly, the attic door slammed shut behind me. The flashlight flickered, and the shadows grew deeper. The air felt heavier, like something was watching me. Then I heard it again, a whisper coming from the corner of the room. "Help me." I didn't stay to find out what it was. I ran. I don't even remember how I got downstairs or out of the house, but I didn't stop running until I was down the street. I haven't been back since. But sometimes, in the dead of night, I still hear it. The footsteps, the knock, and the whisper, "Help me." So, what do you think happened in that attic? Was it Anna trying to warn me? Or was it something far darker, something that my grandfather knew about and wanted to keep locked away? I don't have the answers, but I think some doors are better left closed.